Okay, let's talk about something we've all probably dealt with. Finding that perfect bouquet that doesn't immediately make you reach for a box of tissues. So, this is your guide to picking gorgeous, sneeze-free flowers.
Right? You see this absolutely beautiful arrangement, you bring it home, and bam, it's like a full-blown assault on your sinuses. If you love the way flowers look, but you just dread the reaction, then you are definitely in the right place.
It is such a frustrating cycle, isn't it? You get the runny nose, the itchy, watery eyes, maybe even this pounding headache that just kind of comes out of nowhere. It's almost enough to make you swear off fresh flowers for good.
So, we've all been taught to blame one thing, and that's pollen. But what if I told you that the story is actually a little more complicated, that the real reason for all that discomfort might be something else entirely? Let's really get to the root of the problem here. We've got to understand the two main offenders that can turn a beautiful bouquet into a bit of a nightmare: pollen and perfume. And spoiler alert, they are not the same thing, and they don't affect your body in the same way at all.
So first up, you've got your classic pollen allergy, right? What we call hay fever. This is your immune system overreacting. Your body mistakes these tiny airborne pollen grains, mostly from things like trees and grasses, as some kind of threat, and it just goes into attack mode. That's what causes all those lovely allergy symptoms.
But here is the big twist, the aha moment. According to medical experts, the pollen from most of these big, showy flowers we love is actually too large and heavy to just float around in the air. So that means the flowers themselves often are not the cause of what we think of as a typical pollen allergy.
And this slide just breaks it down perfectly. So on the left, you've got a true pollen allergy. That's your immune system reacting to airborne pollen from stuff like oak trees, and an antihistamine usually helps with that. But over on the right, we have fragrance sensitivity. Now, this is not an allergy, it's an irritation. It's caused by airborne scent particles, these things called VOCs. This is what's really causing the headaches from super fragrant flowers, and it's why your allergy pills probably don't do a thing to help.
All right, so with that little science lesson out of the way, let's get to the fun part: building our perfect sneeze-free bouquet. First up, we're going to focus on the low pollen champions. These are going to be great choices for anyone with that classic hay fever. And our first all-star might actually surprise you. It's the classic rose. So many people think they're allergic to roses, but in most cases, it's really not a pollen problem. They are truly one of the safest bets you can make for a low pollen arrangement.
And here's why it works. First, like we said, rose pollen grains are just too heavy. They don't really travel in the air. Second, look at all those petals. They act like a natural cage, trapping what little pollen there is deep inside. And a little fun fact for you: a lot of the roses you buy from a florist have been bred to have extra petals instead of pollen parts, which makes them even safer.
Next up, we have the elegant and kind of exotic orchid. These are just a fantastic choice for anyone worried about airborne allergens. They're perfect for an office desk or a centerpiece in your home.
And the secret to the orchid is pretty cool, actually. Its pollen isn't a fine powder at all. It's waxy, and it's all clumped together in these sticky little packets. See, it's designed to be picked up by an insect, not blown around by the wind. And that means the chance of you actually breathing it in is pretty much zero.
Okay, so we've covered the low pollen champions. Now, let's tackle that other culprit, fragrance. This section is for all of you who love flowers but get a splitting headache from those really strong scents.
The strategy here is really simple. We're just looking for flowers that are all beauty and no overpowering perfume. The whole goal is just to avoid those strong scent molecules that can trigger headaches and all that sinus irritation.
And the great news is, you have so many gorgeous options. Think of this as your new shopping list for the flower shop. Flowers like tulips, dahlias, those big beautiful hydrangeas, and irises, they're all famous for being low fragrance. That makes them perfect choices if you're sensitive to strong smells.
Ah, the lily. This is probably one of the most confusing flowers for people with sensitivities. You'll hear some people say they're hypoallergenic, and then others will tell you they are the absolute worst. So what is the real story?
And the answer is, well, both sides are right. Lilies have that heavy, sticky pollen that doesn't go airborne, so they're totally safe for people with pollen allergies. But, and this is a big but, many types, like the super popular stargazer lily, have an incredibly strong fragrance that is a huge trigger for people with fragrance sensitivity and migraines. It's the perfect example of why knowing the difference between pollen and perfume is just so important.
So now that you're basically an expert, let's put it all together. Here are some simple, practical steps you can take to make almost any bouquet safer and way more enjoyable.
Okay, these are your new rules of thumb. First, try to pick flowers that are still in tight buds. Second, if you do get lilies, you can perform a little floral surgery. Just gently pluck off those dusty orange tips, they're called anthers, with a tissue. A quick, gentle rinse underwater can also help wash off surface pollen. And hey, if you're handling tulips, wearing gloves can prevent a skin rash some people get called tulip fingers.
And where you put your flowers actually matters, too. Keep them away from fans or open windows that could stir things up. And changing the water frequently, every couple of days, is so key. It's not just for the flower's health, it prevents mold, which is another really common allergen. And of course, an air purifier is always a great backup plan.
And you know, if you're extremely sensitive, please don't feel left out. You can create absolutely breathtaking arrangements without a single flower. Think about using things like eucalyptus, raspberry greens, really interesting branches, or even decorative fruits like artichokes or pomegranates for a pop of color. It's so modern, it's chic, and it's totally worry-free.
So, there you have it. You are now officially equipped to walk into any florist and choose your flowers with total confidence. You got the science, you know the safe options, and you've got the tools to customize pretty much any arrangement. The world of beautiful, vibrant, and most importantly, sneeze-free flowers is now wide open to you.